Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to go over what I feel are the top 10 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays from Warner Brothers. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365. Okay, so for this video, I thought I would start a new series talking about what I feel are the top 10 4K Blu-rays for a particular studio. For this one, I'm going to be talking about Warner Brothers, and this is, of course, going to be a very subjective list, and it was very difficult for me to actually sort through what I feel are the top. Now, this is going to be in picture quality, this will be in audio, and this will also include some upscales. We know that that's a bit of a hot topic as far as, true native 4K, but there are some incredible looking and sounding upscales that are included on this list, and I encourage you to please put down in the comment section what you feel are your top 10 best from Warner Brothers. We'll be doing all the studios, but we're going to start with the WB for this one. All right, let's not waste any time. Let's dive right in. My number 10 pick for the best Ultra HD 4K Blu-rays from Warner Brothers is Tim Burton's Batman Returns. Now, I was really kind of torn between Batman, the original, and Batman Returns, but ultimately I went with the sequel because I feel it ultimately looks nicer as far as the presentation goes. They both have a great sound to them, even though they did alter some of the effects of the original Tim Burton's Batman. But Batman Returns, when that Danny Elfman score kicks in, the Atmos takes full use of it. It sounds incredible. It just really has a good feel to it. Picture quality also is really stunning on here. Just the winter landscape of Gotham City. The Gothic architecture really is detailed here. Colors are nice, natural, but they do pop. And just, it's an ultimate look at the film that is stunning. It really is a good representation of older films on 4K. And yes, definitely check out Batman Returns from Warner Brothers. For my number 9, I'm going with Ridley Scott's Blade Runner. This thing, when I first booted it up on my 4K player, was a revelation of how much just the picture quality was improved utilizing 4K HDR. It is just breathtaking how modern this movie looks despite its age. It is stunning. It retains the film grain that's very appropriate, but the HDR really brings out color, black levels, detailing, and it's just a clarity to the picture that is stunning. The Dolby Atmos included on here is also a nice addition. It really fills the room. It gives you every speaker to work with. It sounds fantastic. I think for the age of the film and the source material that they used, the final cut of Blade Runner is just perfect, in my opinion, on 4K. It looks spectacular. My number 8 is Todd Phillips' Joker. Wow, this one is a modern day 70s style Scorsese type film, but used with modern touches and filmed accordingly. Now, it was shot above 5K and rendered 4K digital intermediate for the home release, and it supports Dolby Vision, which really brings out the natural color elements here. The outfits that Arthur Fleck wears throughout the film as they get more colorful, they are well rendered and appropriate for the style of the film that it is. And other color aspects are also well rendered. Black levels are nice and deep, and the level of detail is exceptional here. It's really good. The Dolby Vision really does a fantastic job, but also the Dolby Atmos audio presentation is pretty spectacular for what it is. It has a lot of the Gotham City ambience to it. The subway scene in particular makes great use of the speakers, the overheads, and it gives you a nice rumbly kind of LFE effect. It sounds wonderful. This is a great movie to just crank on your surround sound. You should definitely listen to it. Just the little bits and pieces that are discreet are really well done here. Joker on 4K is a great presentation. Warner Brothers should definitely be proud of this 4K release. My number 7 is The Matrix on 4K. Now, we all know that the Blu-ray had kind of tint issues for coloring, and I'm happy to say that the 4K edition of this has corrected that, and it gives you a much nicer looking picture. It is a beautiful, beautiful looking image on the 4K formats. Just appropriate levels of film grain are also applied here. The color pops when it needs to, and just everything here works, you know, just basically not an overcorrection, but a correction from the Blu-ray just makes this a good looking picture. The audio, the Dolby Atmos, it really brings things to another level. It sounds wonderful. Fantastic overall presentation. It gives you nice LFE effects. Just those battles between Agent Smith and Neo are just fully realized. The whole thing with the machines, it's a very robust sound mix. Nothing to really complain about here. It's a great presentation from Warner Brothers, and also The Matrix. You know, hey, come on, it's an incredible film and definitely worthy of being on the list. For my number 6, I'm going with Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now, visually, the Dolby Vision really brings out a lot of the color aspects here, and for a giant monster fight kind of movie, it absolutely has a beautiful picture. Now, keep in mind that this is technically an upscale. This is not native 4K, but I think that the Dolby Vision really brings out a lot of the positive elements of that picture in a very meaningful way. Once again, color is spectacular, level of detail is good, and the black levels are very nice, and they have a lot of deepness to them in those particular scenes. But where this movie really shines, and it's very demo worthy, is the audio presentation. The Dolby Atmos soundtrack is spectacular. It just will kill your home theater setup. It is absolutely one of those just robust soundtracks. There's a lot going on screen during those action moments. They're very, very heavy in that area, and it makes great use of the complete surround sound environment. Godzilla, King of the Monsters may not be for everybody, but it is a fantastic 4K presentation from Warner Brothers. My number 5 is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining on 4K. This thing is beautiful to look at. If you are a fan of this film, I think you're going to be taken away by how much it visually looks so much better than what we got on the Blu-ray. Much like Blade Runner, this thing looks spectacular. It's great. It retains a lot of film grain. The added Dolby Vision element to it really brings out those just extra details. Black levels are deep and inky, and the colors, it got a nice natural pop. It has that 70s look to it, and it just looks great. This movie has never looked better, and the audio presentation, despite it not being an Atmos and a DTS 5.1, it sounds great. There is a lot going on. The score just really takes over the complete soundstage that we have here. And the movie has never sounded more clear. There's none of that, you know, old hiss to it. It's a good production on 4K. It looks great, it sounds amazing, and it's absolutely worth checking out on 4K. My number 4 is Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim. This movie on 4K, despite it being an upscale, is demo worthy all day long. Visually, the HDR10 really just makes everything shine on this disc. It is beautiful to look at. The colors just pop off the screen. Those giant monster fights for 4K to take advantage of. And visually, it's beautiful. It looks stunning here. But where things really go to a whole new level is the audio presentation. The Dolby Atmos is just spectacular to listen to. There's plenty of discrete channel activity. When the action kicks in, the rain is dropping on top of your head with the Dolby Atmos setup, and the fights are just front focused, but then they spill out into the backs. It's a good audio presentation. It's great. In fact, despite it being an upscale, Pacific Rim is absolutely worthy to check out on 4K. My number 3 is Blade Runner 2049 on 4K. Now, Roger Deakins has a little bit of kind of reservations when it comes to implementing HDR and that sort of thing on his home media formats. So the HDR is a little bit reserved, but I think it does work very well. Visually, this movie, it looks the way it was meant to. It is spectacular looking. It has a great sci-fi world feel to it. And the colors, while they pop when they need to, it also gives you a nice little bit of natural murkiness to the film. And I think all the various locations and set pieces that were utilized are done, and it looks very well. It's a very pleasing looking image. The audio presentation, the Dolby Atmos, really takes things up a notch. It sounds great. There's a lot of the world that it just envelops you in this presentation. The LFE is appropriately used. The surround sound elements are spectacular. This is a absolute worthwhile presentation for 4K. Looks great, sounds wonderful, and definitely check out Blade Runner 2049. My number 2 pick is going to be another Stanley Kubrick film, this time 2001. What can I say? When I watched this on 4K for the first time, this looked so stunning. The Dolby Vision encode on this really makes this film just pop, and it does so in a very nice way. It retains that look of when the film was made, but it looks also like the film could have been shot a couple years ago. That's how good this movie looks on 4K. I was never overly impressed with the Blu-ray edition of this one, even less so with the DVD. But this is a reason to pick up a 4K player if I've ever seen one. 2001 looks spectacular. The Dolby Vision does a very nice job. The audio presentation is also equally great. It just renders the sound effects very nicely. It's a beautiful sounding presentation. The surround sound just is nice. It fills the room. It gives you a full feeling of being part of the movie. It's very immersive. Great audio presentation. 2001 is a reference quality disc, and you should definitely check this one out on 4K. Before we get to my number 1, just a couple of honorable mentions I would like to bring up. The first one being, of course, Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. The only reason I didn't include this in the main top 10 is because I didn't want this to be a Batman heavy kind of top 10 list, but this is no less worthy of being on any list. It is a wonderful looking presentation, just a good use of the IMAX scenes and the normal aspect ratio, but brought together with native 4K, looks wonderful. And the audio, the DTS 5.1 is spectacular. It's probably one of the heaviest 5.1s I've ever heard on any format. It is a wonderful sounding disc, beautiful to look at. Definitely check out The Dark Knight. And I also want to mention Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg. Visually, this is beautiful, and I think if this had been a native 4K, it might have put it over as being on part of the top 10, but the audio presentation is also spectacular. It is a reference quality in that area. Wonderful to listen to. It makes great use of the complete surround sound experience, and definitely a worthy addition to any list. And for my number 1 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray from Warner Brothers, that is going to go to Aquaman. Now, Aquaman, yes, it's an upscale, but wow, it's a beautiful looking picture. The Dolby Vision encode on this is second to none. It is beautiful with color levels, black levels, detail. It all is greatly enhanced. It shows off the format beautifully, and it is a wonderful looking movie just from start to finish. Every frame is gorgeous to look at, and you should definitely check it out for that alone. But on top of that, the audio presentation, Dolby Atmos, is spectacular. It uses every square inch of your personal home theater. All the speakers are utilized. It's very immersive. The action heavy moments, the quieter moments, they're all rendered very well. It's a great audio mix. The Dolby Atmos is just fantastic. So yes, Aquaman, number 1 on my list. So that is my top 10 best 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays from Warner Brothers. Let me know in the comment section below, what would you put on your personal list? Let's talk about it. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.